Are you too busy? Too stressed out? Unhealthy? Then this is the place for you. Welcome to Balanced Living for Busy Professionals, where we help you create wellness and balance with a holistic approach that will work for you, even with the busiest of schedules, so you can live the life you want. And now, here's your host, Diane Randall.
Hello and welcome. I'm Diane Randall, your host. I want to thank you for listening. And if you are tuning into the show for the first time, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here tuning in. I would love it if you could reach out on Balanced Living for Busy Professionals and leave me a comment or a voicemail and let me know what you think about the show, or if there are any topics that you would like to hear, please let us know. Because after all, this show is solely to support you in your life. I'm just so excited about the show today because it's 2018 and we all need so much support with everything that's going on around us. So today, my guest is here to talk to you about why it's important to create stillness, stay present, and tune into your inner wisdom if you want to stay sane in today's world. There's so much going around today in politics, so much drama around us, so much negative energy. So my guest is here to help us to just support ourselves through everything that's going on in the world and to help us to stay focused on our lives and what matters and what makes us happy and great human beings no matter what. So you'll want to listen until the very end. My guest today is Dr. Davina Koltulski. She's a licensed psychologist, life coach, and spiritual counselor. In addition to her one-on-one work with clients, Dr. Davina leads meditation workshops, spiritual classes, and her 90-day Follow Your Courageous Heart program, which focuses on moving beyond fear and other obstacles to create a meaningful life. Dr. Davina is committed to helping people lead fulfilling lives in alignment with their values, their heart's desires, and authentic soul's calling. She is the author of multiple books and articles on marriage equality and the inspirational award-winning novel Behind Barbed Eyes. Welcome, Dr. Davina Koltulski.
Thank you, Diane. Pleasure to be with you and your audience today. Thank you for inviting me.
You know, this topic, you being here, is so timely in the world today with all the devastation of the earth from the weather, politics, everything that's going on now. And we're still trying to stay busy and keep our heads focused on what we need to do in our lives. So I just really want to thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom and expertise with us today.
Yeah, again, thank you for having me. And it is pretty amazing all the things that have happened since, we've discussed meeting together for this podcast. So much has happened just in the past 2 weeks since we connected. And I think this topic it just continues to be even more important. We need to be able to connect with our hearts through everything that is going on and be present. So tell us how can we stay sane? I mean, it's this crazy, crazy world. Yeah, so I think now more than ever, it's so important that we take time to meditate, to slow down, to connect with those around us that are important to us, to just really be grounded in our bodies and in our hearts, because so much is taking place that it's overwhelming. It's causing, intense stressors to people. And so now more than ever, we really need to slow down and be mindful about what we're doing and the choices that we're making and how that's impacting our lives and the lives of others. And certainly we can talk more about that, but right now it feels so important.
It does feel important. I know for me, what I've done is I've disconnected myself from the TV, all the chatter, all radio, all the things that are coming in. bombarding me with information, and that seems to be helping.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a time where, again, now more than ever, we need to be focusing on our self-care. We need to, moderate the amount of information and stimulation that's coming to us. We need to take time to stay sane. So, again, practices of meditation, mindfulness, slowing down. We need to connect to our hearts, because what's going on in society right now is that we are being so driven by fear, by our devices, not knowing what to do next, that it's becoming very dehumanizing, and there's much fear. And the more we're in a place of fear, the more sense of scarcity and lack, and we kind of lose touch with our humanity. And we need to take time to reconnect with our humanity. Our minds will continue to drive us to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But right now, what we need to do is we need to get balanced. We need to get grounded. We need to do those simple things that keep us connected to our essential selves. So I'm just going to invite everybody to take a deep breath with me. So just take a moment and take a deep breath in through your nose. And gently exhale through your mouth. Good. And go ahead and just put your hand on your heart. Actually put both hands on your heart and take another deep breath in and just breathe into your heart space. And gently exhale. Good. So following your heart is about getting connected to a deeper wisdom. It's about turning away from the world of appearances and what's going on outside, and really tuning in to the wisdom within us, which again, we need now more than ever. We need to be able to tune into what's going on within us so that we know how to respond from a place of peace. We need to know how to respond, not react to what's going on around us. When we slow down, when we meditate, when we're connected to our heart, we are able to know and what really matters and how to take actions from that place. We're listening at a deeper level, and intuitively, when we do that, we're letting ourselves know what is right for us in every moment. A friend that was at the shooting in Las Vegas, she was at the concert, and something just sort of spoke to her that it would feel her to go back to her hotel room and rest, and it just felt like, I don't need to hear the rest of the concert. My body, my heart is me to just go back and rest and call it a night. And the fact that she listened to that and didn't try to force herself to stay longer or justify that she spent the money or any of those things, just listened within, saved her life.
Wow.
And yeah, and those are the kinds of things right now. We need to be really, really listening. Where am I supposed to be? Where am I being called? What is the best use of my energy right now? And instead of just, I already made that commitment. I already said yes. Oh gosh, I just need to do one more thing. I need to get it right. That's the brain. The brain is always driving us to perfection, to one more thing, to not enoughness, to fear, to holding on really tightly to what we have. And the heart is about listening to what's important. What do I need right now? It's about self-care. It's about connecting with people. It's about trust. It's about faith. And this is the time we need to get in touch with that. We need to get in touch with our inner nature and the nature around us. I mean, much of what's happening today is being caused because we have gotten disconnected from our truth. We have taken nature for granted. We have driven ourselves and our natural resources too far, and we're trying to do everything and be everything. And more is less. Slowing down, taking shoes and socks off, feeling our feet on the earth, walking the grass, being mindful of the food that we're eating, not over consuming, not consuming the wrong things, like really listening more deeply to our bodies, to our hearts. Again, when we're listening to our minds, we're more likely to become sick and stressed. We're not present. We get out of balance. And connecting with your heart is about taking breaks. It's about, really being mindful of where we're investing our time, our energy. Or just the mind is about competition, whereas the heart is about cooperation. And we need to be in a world of cooperation right now. Competition is driving us to, extinction.
I hear you when you say that. So when you talk about self-care, what an example would be like setting boundaries and being clear on what you need at this time.
Absolutely. Being clear, being in the now, right? When we're in our hearts, we really listen. Is this the right thing for me? Yes or no? If we go from the mind, well, I said I'd do that. I said I'd show up. Something feels, it doesn't feel authentic to do that right now, but I already made the agreement, so I'm going to do it. We need to listen to the divine feminine within. We need to be in this moment. We need to be making our decisions not on the past, not on, something in the future, but what about now? What do I need now? What does my family need right now? What is the best decision I can make? Is it a yes or is it a no? And we live in a society where it's like, well, you're a flip-flopper, or you're not being your word, or, you're a quitter. We actually need to embrace those things because we need to be present and making our decisions in the now. Sometimes we do need to quit things so that we have the energy and the resources to take care of ourselves and our families. Sometimes the decision that we made in the past it no longer makes sense today. And so that deep listening, that going within, that being in the present moment allows us to know what are the right choices for us. We can't get hardened. And it's that living like in concrete that is causing us so many problems. We need to be flexible. We need to be alive and vibrant and not doing things from obligation. And we need to really be present to how is life speaking to me today. And again, that might sound wishy-washy to people, but that's what's really real. This moment right here, right now is what's real. Everything else, that is an illusion. So how can I honor myself, my body, my family, the world right here and right now in this moment? Because everything can change.
Everything can change in a heartbeat. And it's also, we're more distracted than ever. I know our iPhone, I think the idea at some time was to allow us to have what we needed at our fingertips, but it's definitely created a 24/7 on-call society where we're distracted all the time. And that makes it tough to be present, to get
Absolutely.
Connected with who you are. So how would you recommend that someone that's so busy, they may take a few minutes to check their Facebook, to check their social media. What would you recommend to busy people who just say they don't have time for anything, even getting checked back into themselves?
That's a great question. In some countries, if your boss emails you after hours, they can be in some countries because it's disrespecting your time off of work. In the United States, we only get 2 weeks of vacation in most jobs. Most employers only give 2 weeks paid vacation, and most Americans can't even take their vacation. And this is disturbing. This is, the United States is a workaholic kind of an environment. And even if you work for yourself, you might feel like, well, gosh, I need to be accepted by my clients 24/7. you're actually hurting yourself and you're hurting your clients by doing that because you're not fully available to them. You think you are, but you're not. We need to be able to have times where we completely disconnect and we allow ourselves to be present. And if you tell yourself you don't have time for it, well, the universe, find time, you'll get sick. You'll get, you'll find yourself, having more colds or other things, or the universe will slow you down, car accidents, things like that. We can mindfully choose to take our time out, or we can, sometimes the universe will give us those timeouts if we don't choose them for ourselves. That's not a threat or anything. It's just, you are the most important person. And if you are not taking time to heal, to rejuvenate, to replenish, you really don't have much to give your client. Think you do, but you don't. And what you're modeling for them is that, that they don't deserve to be valued and they don't deserve self-care either. And so it's really about putting your self-care first. Put yourself at the top of the list. This is true for moms too, busy moms, working professionals. You will have more to give to your children if you take time to go get a facial or a massage, to meditate, to go for a walk or do yoga in the morning. You'll have more to give. You'll be giving from the overflow instead of the bottom of the barrel. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And I really love this conversation. And I have this type of conversation over and over and over again because it's hard for people who are busy to really get in touch with the fact that they have to put themselves first. They have to.
Yeah.
Instead of, it's about the business, it's about the project, it's about making other people happy. It's knowing that you have to be first to give to others. And that's what I hear you confirming over and over and over again.
Yeah. And I mean, if we deep spiritually, and, I'm a science of mind spiritual practitioner as well as a psychologist, but what we know, and what we're learning is that our beliefs, our viewpoints, our thought influence and impact what goes on outside of us. So we make the change within and we can impact the world outside of us. So if we're feeling and harried, we're going to create more of that outside of us. If we go within and we meditate, we take time. I mean, all of these spiritual leaders say the more time you take to meditate, the more your life is in the flow. Things come, time works better for you. You sort of bend time in a particular way. You make better decisions. You're more relaxed. So as a business owner, taking time to relax and go within allows you to respond and not react in an adrenalized state. Also, when we're calmer, when we're connected to our hearts, we're bringing our blood pressure down. We're lowering the cortisol in our bodies so that we're not causing ourselves additional physical harm. When we take time to go within and to slow down, even if we have things to do, like Buddhist monk, teacher, poet, Thich Hanh in his book, Miracle of Mindfulness, which is a wonderful classic book on meditation and mindfulness, it talks about even if you have to do the dishes, be present, right? Don't rush through doing the dishes. Be present. Feel the water on your hands. Smell the soap. Get connected. Allow yourself to really just be doing what you're doing instead of rushing through it. And this is so true with food, right? We eat, I remember when I was in my workaholism days, I was driving in the car, commuting 30 miles to work and eating, a bagel sandwich and, just gulping it down as quickly as I could before I got to the office at 7:30 in the morning. That was insane. I didn't even taste that food, and drinking our coffees in to-go cups. So we're not even experiencing the nourishment of the food that we are taking in. So slowing down, looking at your food, not eating in your car, not sitting at your desk and eating your food, but stepping outside or sitting with other people and connecting. We are not robots. And honestly, it's very disturbing the direction that our country is going in is, we value the buck, the almighty dollar so much, and some of our capitalist values without really connecting and valuing the human being. We're moving to a place of automating more and more jobs because we don't even care about human connection. So it's just better to go through the checkout line with the computer. It's better to go to the ATM than talk to the banker. We're outsourcing so many of our jobs to automation, and we're becoming a society that doesn't even regard human connection. That's very disturbing. And watching how children are responding to that, where, my girlfriend's son, when he is recycling, he'd rather go to a machine and recycle his bottle cans at a machine than talk to a person because the person is slower and he just wants his money faster. And this is just the society that we've created. This is a kid who, is still very loving in other ways, but this is the mentality that we're creating in our world right now. We're creating sex robots so that people don't have to have human connection and can get those needs met more easily. This sounds absurd, but this is what's happening in our culture. So I'll just pause there.
It is happening in our culture. We even have, I have nieces and nephews who are teenagers, and we also have generations of young people who don't even talk to each other. They just text to each other. They don't even have good social and communication skills. I'm not saying everyone, but I've witnessed this, and that's disturbing to me. So I really try to go out of my way to talk about how do we reconnect, because if it's not a conscious effort, it just gets thrown by the wayside. And it is disturbing to see that we live in a society like that, because it is driven by the almighty dollar to the point that it's killing us as well. Like you said, our health, our mental state. I read that 1 in 6 Americans are on some type of antipsychotic drug.
Yeah.
And to the point where we don't even, many of us don't even feel.
Mm-hmm. There's so much numbing going on.
So much numbing.
Yeah. So the more time we spend in our left brains, right? So, where we are seeing things as objects, we are seeing the parts and not the whole. We're looking for differences instead of, the heart is more connected to the right brain, to creativity, to seeing oneness, to seeing wholeness. We need to spend more time in our right brain. We need to spend more time painting and drawing and being in nature and connecting and playing, singing, and the things that keep us human, right? Not the things that turn us into, robotic brained, science objectifying life, objectifying other people. We need that brain, that spirituality, that creativity, that human connection. It's so important that is taking place as well, and that we're making time for that. We see kids in rooms where they're all sitting there and they're all on their phones and they're not talking, they're texting each other in the same room, or they're playing violent video games where it's easy to objectify a person and just shoot them. Just in the past 2 months, we've seen in Los Angeles, there was the biggest wildfire ever. Well, on Sunday, Monday, the biggest wildfire ever in Northern California. We've just had the worst mass shooting in Orlando, followed by it's the next worst, the worst shooting in Las Vegas. The stakes just keep getting higher and higher, the hurricane. We have got to bring it down. We have got to reconnect to our humanity. We've got to slow things down. And we can begin within. And as we begin within, that changes what outpictures in the world around us.
And Dr. Davina, it's happening, the destruction is happening so much, and the climate change that we can no longer deny it, even if we were like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's in front of us. We're all experiencing something. I was in Napa Valley 3 weeks ago, just admiring the beautiful vineyards. And then 2 weeks later,
Monday.
It's on fire. It's amazing that the fires, I looked at a map at all the fires on the West Coast. It is incredible when you look at the graphs about where the fires are. It is mind blowing, like you said, as to what's happening. But I feel that it's to get our attention, to bring us back to what's important, the planet, our minds, our bodies, our spirits. So I certainly hear you when you say that. And because you're right. If you want to be sane in this world, it's time to check back in.
Yeah, it is. And again, when we're connected to our hearts, we're going to treat each other and ourselves differently. When we're in our minds, we just don't care. We just kind of, and there's so many things that just keep putting us in our minds and taking us out of our hearts. We need to come back to our hearts. We need to value our own bodies. We need to value the lives of the people around us. We need to, when you're in your heart, you're not thrill seeking. But when we're in our brain, we need more. We need more adrenaline. We need more thrills. It's like, what's next, what's more stimulation. And, again, like that, for everybody, that will impact them differently. But there's a desire when you're wanting more and more stimulation, it creates more addiction, it creates more consumerism, and it creates more empty ghosts, and that's a Buddhist term of just wanting to fill and fill. When you're in your heart, you're at peace. See what's around you. You need less. You're more connected again to yourself and others. You're not striving. You're not taking more. You're just in a different energy altogether. And each of us every day has a choice, moment to moment. Am I going to connect with my heart right now? Am I going to slow down and be present? Am I going to look at the person in front of me? Or am I in a rush? Do I need more? Is it about me? Am I going to run over the person in front of me? Am I more important than everybody else? Am I going to take more than I need? Those kinds of things.
Wow. So for someone that's listening today that's really wanting to make a change, to become more present, how can they get in touch with you?
You can go to my website, followyourcourageousheart.com, and they can contact me there. They can, if they want to, have a chat for like a consultation and talk about what's going on, they can sign up with a consultation there. I have some different programs and classes that are available. Some are free, some are paid, that they can get resources and help them connect with themselves. And again, as busy professionals, you just want to take care of yourself. The more you take care of yourself, the more you're going to take care of your family. If you run your own business, the culture that you create by valuing yourself is going to impact the people that work for you, your clients, your customers. Every day we make a choice, and it's kind of like, I just have to say, the difference between our last president and our current president. To me, and this might be political, but our last president, I really felt he was in his heart, and our current president, I feel like he's very in his head, and he's not connected to himself. And we see how that outpictures.
Yeah, that's making a big difference on the world, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Dr. Davina Koltulski, I want to thank you for being here and just sharing your wisdom, your expertise on what we can do to reconnect with ourselves, to stay sane in the world right now, to stay present, to take better care of ourselves and be more conscious of the community.
Thank you, Diane. Yeah, I appreciate you having me here today. And again, for your listeners, if you would like to go to followyourcourageousheart.com/webinar, I'm going to offer you a free Be Your Own Hero webinar where you can learn more about the 7 ways to courageously be in your heart and create your life from that place.
Dr. Davina, thank you so much. And all of her information will be in the show notes for this episode. So you want to make sure that you read the show notes to get all the information to her webinars, her special offers, as well as her website, Follow Your Courageous Heart.
Thank you so much, Diane. And appreciate it. Thank you all who are listening. Peace and blessings. Have a great day.
And I want to hear from you, listeners. I want to know what you think about this episode. Give us some feedback. Recommend a topic that will support you more in your life, a topic that you want to hear more about. By leaving a message or a comment, let me know what you think about the show. You help us to decide what interviews, what topics we cover. And please share this podcast with others who want support in their busy lives. I want to thank you for listening. Get my new book, Jumpstart Your Life, Find Your Motivation, and Change Your Life One Step at a Time. This book has been released on Amazon.com and other online retailers. This book was inspired by my successful and life-changing workshops that I've been leading for over 10 years. I am now bringing my tools, techniques, and accountability structures straight to you. So if you're ready to take that first step towards the life you've always wanted, get the book and discover your capacity for success and attain your goals through a series of simple, powerful techniques. I also want you to join my private Facebook community called Jumpstart Your Life. Get resources, tips, as well as ideas as you integrate the Jumpstart Your Life process. I'll see you in the community.
Thank you for listening to Balanced Living for Busy Professionals. This podcast is sponsored by DianeRandallConsults.com. If you like this show, the best way to support it is by leaving 5-star feedback on iTunes. And please feel free to email your questions, comments, and suggestions to feedback@DianeRandallConsults.com. Until next week, namaste.